Okay, let me invite Rashmi Bhargava ma'am to moderate today's panel. Rashmi Bhargava ma'am is textile designer and design educator. She holds a master's degree in textile design from National Institute of Design NID 1991 batch. She has vast 30 years experience of industry and now she is sharing her expertise in teaching from last 6 years. Welcome ma'am. Now I will request our director ma'am, Sunana ma'am, to welcome our panelists by honoring them to our mulberry silk scarves which are dyed in our textile lab and it's made out of natural dyes. Chika, and I request Shikha ma'am to join together with ma'am to honor our guest. Thank you so much, Archana and Shikha ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, panelists. We keep it very casual and we have a brief questionnaire for the students to know and for us to know what do you think about handloom innovation happening in the area of expertise that you already have in working. So, my first question is how do you define handloom innovation in the context of your work? So, my question is to you, Vishnu.
Thank you, Ashwin, for having me here. And thank you for this interesting question that you are talking back, which is innovative. So, I think थोड़ा पीछे जाना चाहूँगी. Pandemic के बाद the world has changed a lot. People suddenly talk about sustainability, suddenly talk about green, eco-friendly. What does it mean? And I think India has a lot to teach here because we have a heritage of handlooms. And imagine today we talk about carbon credit system, kitna carbon footprint hai. And handlooms are all almost zero carbon footprint. And all our handlooms have a zero carbon footprint. So I think what we need to do here is to take a step back and see कि हमारे पास ऐसी हेरिटेज में हमारे पास क्या टेक्सटाइल्स हैं जिनको हम वापस रीइन्वेंट शायद करके एक ग्लोबल मार्केट को दे सकते हैं. So in context of cotton trend, we work with indigenous food. We talk about climate change. राजस्थान में जब बात होगी यहाँ पानी नहीं है शायद इस साल हमारे पास बहुत लेवल पानी नहीं होगा. तो हमें अक्सर लगता है as maybe I'm not an engineer, maybe I can't contribute to the society or designer मैं क्या करूँ. But just think, as a designer, you have so much potential to contribute towards climate change. So I think this is not just what me as cotton plant, this is also what you as designers in the future. So if you think that maybe also designers are not engineers, not doctors, you can't make an impact, you're wrong. As designers, you can make a lot of impact because climate change is real. Fashion industry is the second most polluting industry, and like we are trying to do, we are trying to build a facility where 1,000 kiloliters of water gets utilized every day in biofiltration system. So that is the need of the R in a dark zone, right? And this is something that we designers are doing together. So who said designers can't make an impact? So I think technology, handloom, designers, we all know handloom.
Everything goes hand in hand. Yes. So my next question is, how has the design aspect of handlooms evolved over the past few decades? So you've been closely working in handloom. How has the design aspect of handlooms evolved over the past few decades?
Actually, I haven't worked at grassroots level for handloom at all. I'm not there. I got into it because I was fascinated by handloom, the texture of it and the feel of it. So that's why I got into handloom and chose that as my material for clothing. It has evolved, of course, but the evolution of handloom probably what I feel has been quite influenced by outsiders who come as importers from India. So I have a feeling that these people, the artisans, they probably have lost that. That's my experience. I may be wrong entirely. They've lost their pride in their work because they've been dictated to do certain things. This is the design you have to create. Because all these motifs in Sangani print or in this Marsi style, so these motifs were created by these artisans, uneducated artisans. They had that aesthetic. And they were inspired by nature, they were inspired by things around them, by deities, by mythological figures. So all that innovativeness within the artisans has gone. Totally dependent on guidance. तो ये डिजाइन में बनाना है, ये पेंट करना है, ये कलर डालना है, इसमें ये करना है, करना है. This is what I feel is happening, and that is why these people are. The next generation is not getting into the service field. And of course, money is money.
Yeah, so probably it is because earlier the artisans were working as designers. They created themselves. They were highly talented people. And now we have young designers and a team of designers who are working on these areas, and they are providing new designs to weavers and the community and the sector. So it is also the evolution is also because the designers who are working now are following certain trends and they have to work as per the trends. So design will definitely change, and that's the market requirement for them.
So this is what I'm trying to say. The design, the artisan should be exposed to the design change. What is the requirement of the market? So they should have that exposure and they should be able to put their thought forward and the design aesthetics forward. And then probably go forward. Because I have an example of Ruma Devi. But of course, her designs are just stuck up there. They haven't even moved forward. You're right in that. They should evolve further according to the norms and sensibility and this. That should happen, and I'm in the same boat because I would rather have my design made by the artist and then actually asking him to do whatever he feels like. So this is there because this is what is happening with design school. All of us have their own design, their own sensibility in that. ये मुझे बनाना है, ये मुझे design create करना है. So artisans are getting and that's the product designers.
Yeah, it is the skill that remains with the artisans these days. They have the skill, and designers have the marketability, how to sell it. So they provide a platform. So it's probably hand in hand, and that brought the evaluation in handloom sector maybe.
And then I don't know if it has really happened. We are the backbone people in the arts. But mind you, artists in the beauty of the So, the sympathy is actually there, but I feel there been these block printers, they don't need RGB and all that. We can create a color. This is the color we want, and कट कर के बना के तैयार कर देता है. वो स्केल नहीं लगाता है प्रिंटिंग करने में, प्रिसिशन नहीं देता है, कट कर लगाया उसने, इसको एक्सपीरियंस उसको पर वो नहीं मिल रहा है उसको आगे का. Not getting an applause for what he is. He's a lock maker. He's the unsung artist. Absolutely. Who talks about him?
He's an engineer. He sets the design, he made perfect 90-degree with registration marks.
There are gray areas.
Absolutely. So my next question is, how has technology influenced design and innovation? So anybody can answer that, please. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. An interesting question, I would say.
Technology in textile is a very, very important aspect. We are aware of that there is a fiber, then there is a yarn, a fabric, embellishment, and so on, right? There are ample possibilities when we talk about fiber. Fiber is a pod. You can mix certain amount of cotton with certain amount of wool. Yeah. Each combination will give you a different variety of yarn. Correct. Each combination, like if you increase the percentage of wool, it will give you a different fabric. If you increase the percentage of cotton, it will be a different fabric. Now my fiber is done. I make a yarn. When I make a yarn, blending two yarns together will give me a different fabric. It could be two silk, one cotton. It could be two cotton, one silk, or so on and so forth. So just imagine the ample possibilities. We are stuck with the readily available fabric. As I just spoke to her, and she's working on new natural fibers, blending those fibers with the existing ones to create new designs. So this is something which is very challenging for our handlooms. We need that. So what we need right now is try and experiment with the technological aspects of these materials. Each yarn can be combined together to make separate weaves. If we take separate warp and weft, combine two warp of silk and one weft of cotton, or vice versa, whatever combination you plan with various colors that you can use, you get ample amount of fabrics possibilities. This is what is the requirement of, what Archana ji said recently. We need to go to global market. We need to have new products in our own market. All this is possible when we go to the grassroots level and work and understand basically what is the requirement of each of the materials that we work on. I would urge on this platform that each one of us, if we, assist ourselves, take ourselves with one artisan, be it any field, fiber, yarn, fabric, embellishment, design, draping, anything. From the entire chain, if we become one artisan, be with them, be a family with them, work with them entirely, deeply with them for maybe associate with your tenure of study. And try to make some change, try to make, some change in the process that is possible. It will be a huge difference in the handloom industry. I also want to add one point right now, why our handloom is very, very important globally. As she spoke about the climate change. Yesterday when I checked, the temperature of London was 34 degrees. It was never this. It was never this. 3 years or 4 years back, the highest temperatures was 14 or 15. And in 3 years' time, it has reached 32, 34 degrees. And it will soar in a few days to come. They are not used to this material. What they have is 70% of synthetic fabrics. 70% of textile is synthetic. In Europe or UK, whatever, is an example of one area. Now, they need handlooms, they need textile, they need natural fibers. There's a huge gap, there's a huge market. Please try to research on this market available. Please try to understand that you can cater to various markets available to us. So you will have to check as a student, you will have to be associated, do a lot of research on the recent trends and technological advancements that we can do in simpler ways to our handloom industries to take it to new heights.
Well said, ma'am. Thank you so much. That's really interesting and insightful. So, next question is, what are some challenges and benefits of integrating new designs with traditional weaving techniques?
Hi, good evening, everyone. So, we are talking about basically the importance of design, right? Now, before we talk about the importance of design, I would like to highlight in terms of where we are moving as a textile uh, industry and as well. Like most of you here probably are more interested in doing fashion design, am I right? How many of you are kind of passionate about textile design? How many? Can you raise hands? Like how many of you are passionate about textile design?
What is fashion and textile design?
Huh?
What is fashion and textile?
Right, but fashion and textile are still, let's say, two different things. How many of you are passionate about fashion? And how many of you are passionate about textiles? Right. So India, we come from a background where we never had stitched clothing, right? We only had handlooms, and there was no fashion. It was everything was very community driven. Everything was very hunky dory. All communities used to have different languages. All classes used to have different languages. Now, why there's suddenly a very strong debate around design and craft? It's because the complete world has changed, right? You know, number of women wearing saris have drastically reduced. Number of men wearing lungis has drastically. We are totally living in a different world. So hence, the designers are extremely important to bridge the gap between the craftsman and the world that it is leading to. Right now, because I come from, I work as a designer, and because sir has mentioned about qualitative designing, rather than having a very democratic structure of design and creative structure for weavers, the problem is the gap between the market and the weaver, right? So who's bridging the gap? It is absolutely the designers who are bridging the gap. Now all the problems of the world which are revolving around sustainability, etc., 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 everything is solved by handloom. We all know that. But who is going to make it relevant to today's times? You know my question is, how many of you will be comfortable wearing kurta or kurta pajamas every day? Right? Like how many of you would be comfortable wearing saris every day? So if we are changing, we don't change, but there has to be a balance. So who's striking the right balance? It is the designer's responsibility to strike the right balance where we kind of move the world in a way where we take the cultures also together and we also move with the present time. So it's a very, very crucial, design as a term introduced in craft is a very crucial term now. Because young population is absolutely disconnected to what's happening, what has happened in the past. Right? They won't understand clusters, the importance of different clusters, working together. All of that, let's be, let's accept it. The importance, the relevance has gone. So I think it's probably the duty of the designers to kind of make it relevant and also take artisans and craftsmen together. Now, another point, very important point to understand here is all the clusters have worked in a certain format in India, whether it is Varanasi or Chanderi or anywhere. There used to be one artisan who would kind of be very creative as compared to other people. and everybody would follow their design. For example, let's say if you would understand Chanderi, then I would talk about Sikauti, right? Or Ekmanagari. So these were all, it wasn't done by the entire village. It was done by one person, and then when it kind of Mendi lagega. So all these things then got copied by the other craft. There's a very clear difference between an artisan and a craftsman, right? So it is exactly the gap that we need to build as designers to kind of make it relevant to the global population and the closed world. Like, every buzzword around handloom is resonating internationally. And we already have a gold mine where we can kind of begin. I mean, look at what Sanjay has done, what Rohan has done, look what Pekka is doing, look what Pedro has done, like Anil has done phenomenal, look what Injury is doing. Right? So these people have acted the catalyst between Indian culture and aesthetics and resonating with the international global population. Right?
Thank you. So that says that you have a very big responsibility on your shoulders. How have changing consumer preferences included handloom designs? Change in the consumer preferences, how do you see that change influencing the handloom designs?
So, so we all are consumers of various things.
Going together.
So we all consume, I'm going to give a metaphor here, so bear with me. हम सब potato chips खाते हैं, right? So you walk into a store, हमें Lay's भी दिखते हैं, हमें kettle boiled chips भी दिखते हैं, हमें Pringles भी दिखते हैं. They all have different price point, but they all have a different taste and a different recipe. And market सबका है. There are potato chips for even for $500, which means there is an audience for every product. It's not necessary कि हर कोई हैंडलूम खरीद सकता है, बट एस्पायर जरूर कर सकता है. इसीलिए आज की डेट में मास मार्केट में हैंडलूम की इमिटेशन बिकती है, क्योंकि 200 रुपये का एक का कुर्ता नहीं आता है. बट क्या वो 200 रुपये का कुर्ता गलत है? हाँ, बिकॉज वो किसी आर्टिस्ट की जॉब ले रहा है. बट एट द सेम टाइम 200 रुपये का कुर्ता किसी और के दिल में एस्पिरेशन जगाता है to actually have that someday. And then you want to have that which is maybe 1,600, 2,000, and you can afford it. So, just like any product, textiles or consumer demand is very internal. जरूरी नहीं है आपको जो खादी बोल के साड़ी बेची जाती है 500 रुपये की खादी, आपको कैसे हो सकती है? आप हाथ से धागा भी काट रहे हो, आप उसको हैंड में बना भी रहे हो, 500 रुपये की नहीं बनेगी. But if you are buying a synthetic khadi, and tomorrow you see a genuine khadi, you would appreciate it and you want to buy it. So it goes in tandem. हम नहीं बोल सकते कि mass market गलत है, artisan products ही हमें चाहिए. Because at one point of life, आप शायद इसको afford ही नहीं कर सकते, but to have that aspiration is very important. हम artisanal, this is a very good debate about craft versus commodity. जो 20 रुपये का पोटैटो चिप्स है आप कभी भी खा सकते हो, जो प्रिंगल्स है ना वो वीकेंड पे खरीदते हो.
Truly says, in 1986 I was doing internship at Handloom, and they were printing Banarsi sarees, imitation of Banarsi saree for sarees for Bombay market. So because there are people who cannot afford actual Banarsi sarees, so they were printing Banarsi designs, screen print, and they were sending it to Bombay market. This is 1986, I'm not wrong. So yeah, imitation of art and craft definitely somehow
I want
dominates.
to add one thing there. हम अक्सर बोलते हैं ना handloom industry is dying, handloom industry is dying. हम मास नाम में काम कर रहे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं। But let me tell you one thing, Charles Darwin की थ्योरी है ना, survival of the fittest. That is how this industry is also evolving. अगर ये learning होगी तो पहले बन चुकी होगी. They're evolving and they're getting better every time.
Absolutely. So how do you address the differing design demands of local and global markets? How do you address the differing design demands of local and global markets?
There is a definite difference between local demand and domestic demand. Local demand, if we consider Jaipur or Rajasthan as local, then they have no demand in the world. Their demand is varied by brands, design which are done by some design person. That's all. If some special person is buying something, they will buy it. Otherwise, they don't have their own demand. But of course, I believe fashion week starts in Chennai. Whenever somebody is introducing some new design, starts in Chennai. It is like there, then it comes to the rest of India. That's what I feel.
All FMCG products also.
Yeah.
All FMCG products also. Not the design. They make the design of all FMCG products.
This is how, but this is very unfortunate because जयपुर तो हमारा गढ़ है डिजाइन का हर तरीके से हैंडलूम और क्राफ्ट की पूरे बने हुए हैं आर्टिसंस भी होते हैं तो यहाँ पर तो उस जमाने गए कि जब पहले हर चीज अप्रिशिएट की जाती है यहाँ पर लोकल मार्केट तो इतना कुछ नहीं है बाहर से ही खरीदते हैं लोकल मार्केट ऑफकोर्स वी हैव टू क्रिएट demand from them and create their interest. एम तो यही होना चाहिए कि क्वींस कोर्ट में खद्दर का सूट पहन के कोई जाए वही ना ये नहीं ऐसे ही होना चाहिए बिकॉज देवर द वन जिन्होंने दबाया था नाउ इट्स टाइम वी कैन गो देयर बट दोस पीपल आर स्टिल कॉन्शियस अबाउट एंड दे आर वेरी कॉन्शियस एंड दे रिस्पेक्ट दैट this I came to US recently and a small exhibition. They are very serious about this sustainable and they respect it. They respect whatever is happening and probably we have the largest handloom market in the world in India. So they respect it and they like your design then of course there is a great quality for that. In India, I haven't seen it so much, but further south in Bombay, if you go to metropolitan, there are Chennai, like Chennai, I went there also. There was some people who really like, most of the people would actually appreciate this. Jaipur is a different market. It's a lot of awareness as to what is this market.
Traditional city and it has its own strong tradition. So, let's move to another question. How do you ensure that your design practices are ethical and support the artisans involved? So, anyone can answer this.
I would really love to work hand in hand with an artist. You should stand in next to doing something. I would really love that. And that's the kind of spirit I try to develop with my artists. But of course, that mentality there. I'm sorry that is the kind of experience I have with the artists. But of course, they are the people who are actually giving you whatever you want to be. आपकी dreams जो है design की they have to be next to you and they should be promoted and they should get all the applause and they should. So I try to do that.
So do you give them a better environment where they feel?
I'm sorry.
Do you work on the the space that they're working at? Do you provide better environments?
Till now,
I'm
I don't
just
have.
generally asking, how do you help the artisan?
I don't have a setup of my own, so I go to wherever the artisan is. But there is a question between the artisan and me. There is a middleman who guides the artisan. So I have to go through that.
Is this a channel that you have to follow always?
I'm sorry.
Do you have to follow this channel every time you pass your design to the artisan?
I haven't done the weaving. I haven't gone to the basket with the weaver. I haven't worked with weaver. I've worked with printer, not with the. So there is a person there for you who takes your design and gives you the. But I always put next to the person who's doing the blog or making the blog or doing the printing. I always put next to him, talk to him, and try to be friendly with him. That is all I can do, and of course, offer free medical advice. It's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
you being a doctor. Yeah.
So we're talking about exploitation of weavers and are we taking it ethically? So, ethics in trade is totally defined by, and I'm sorry for sounding too practical, ethics in trade is totally defined by demand and supply. So there is the demand and there is the supply. And if the supply price is right, the demand will happen. It will materialize. And if it is not there, so it happens in case if I don't put the right price, right tag to my thing, my customer is not going to buy. And if let's say weaver is not, I'm sourcing from weaver and if I don't get the right price, then I won't be able to sell it. Right? Now if he gives me the right price, I'll buy it. If I feel that it is not the right price, I will not buy it. So where is the question of exploitation or unethical, being acting unethical, right? Now, the second question is providing them, facilities for working, right? Now, handloom works in such a beautiful manner where all the weavers are operating out of their homes. No matter what your home is, you'll be the most comfortable in your home, whether you have the most swanky interiors or you have the most basic of it. Right? If I take my weaver and I put him in Taj Mansingh in Delhi, he was most uncomfortable staying there. Most uncomfortable. So everybody has their own environment. So it's not necessary that we need to tweak their environment or disturb their environment. Let them be comfortable. Most of them are not even comfortable coming to the cities and doing sales life. A lot of them are driven by having cars and having interiors or floorings and not wanting to stay in my houses. That's their problem. That's their. If as a designer I start taking charge of all these things and changing life, then what the heck the government is doing? It's government's responsibility to provide the right sanitation, right? As a designer, I really need to focus on my work, right, and get the demand and supply line. And that is what more important is, isn't it?
So we work with cotton, and it's very interesting to know हम लोग के लिए शौक था कॉटन वीव करने से आसमा होता है ड्राई एग्जैक्टली सो अगर हवा में ह्यूमिडिटी है तो आसमा नहीं होगा लेकिन अगर आप इसे ड्राई स्टेट में हीट कर रहे हो फाइबर होके आपके लंग्स में सेटल हो जाता है तो हम लोग वैसे वाले वीव कराने का प्रॉब्लम नहीं बट हम लोगों ने जब जयपुर में राजस्थान में या फिर हम लोग जम्मू कश्मीर के हमारे हमारी खुद की लोग हैं मुझे वहाँ पे वीव कराया तो पता चला वीव को देखकर मुझे लगता है रात को छाती में कुछ बैठ जाता है इस यान में कुछ केमिकल है क्या यान में तो कुछ केमिकल नहीं था देन वी रियलाइज कि कॉटन की ड्राई स्टेट फील होती है मतलब वो जल्दी टूट जाता है इसका फाइबर ब्रेक हो जाता है सो वी ट्राई टू गिव मास्क एंड नॉट योर कपड़े का मास्क प्रॉपर इंडस्ट्रियल मास्क नॉजल एंड 3 mm layers एंड दे डिड इट 2000 का मास्क लगाया गया 6000 खर्च करके 3 यूएस के लाए मेरे कम से कम हमारे नहीं रहना चाहता है अब हम लोग फिगर आउट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि भाई 2000 के मास्क रखोगे अब क्या करें Then somebody said कि जो गुड़ होता है खाने के बाद मतलब उसे डाइजेशन निकालते हैं. It's a natural tradition in people in Rajasthan कि गुड़ खाने के बाद तो यहाँ के लीवर में होता है. हमें हमारे जो लीवर में होता है कि आप गुड़ खाओ. And that good help, they were able to relieve that asthmatic condition because of inhalation of cotton fiber. इतनी सिंपल सी चीज है ये. कॉटन फाइबर से अस्थमा, गुड़ खाने से ठीक होना. बट जब तक हम इन चीजों के बारे में अवेयर नहीं होंगे हम उनको एडवाइस नहीं दे सकते. And one more question, when you said कि ethic, are you taking it ethically? This is again related to what is an ethical payment. I mean, जो सरकार बोलती है कि दिन में इतना कमाना चाहिए वो ethical है, या फिर ये रियल एस्पिरेशन है कि उसको अपने लक्ष्य को एक अच्छे कॉलेज में पढ़ाने के लिए पैसे उसको गाड़ी खरीदनी है एंड उसको वो कमाना है. तो इज दैट नॉट एथिकल? या वो मांग नहीं सकता बट मार्केट लाइक यू सेड इट्स वेरी ट्रू. मार्केट को नहीं देगी क्योंकि हमारी आगे सब्जी नहीं चाहिए तो नहीं चाहिए. दैट हैपेंस इन द मेरी हार्डेस्ट नेगोशिएशन विद इंडियन बायर्स और एक्सपोर्ट बायर्स. सो एज अ डिजाइनर यू आर स्टक बिकॉज एक तो आपके पास टेक्निकल चैलेंजेस हैं, आपके पास मॉरल चैलेंजेस हैं, आपके पास डिजाइन चैलेंजेस हैं, तो पर्सनल चैलेंजेस को भूल जाए.
Another very important thing, very important. The dyes which Indian textiles are using are all chemical dyes, all natural dyes, they are all chemical dyes. Nobody takes it from that. We at the design level, what can we do? In the entire Rajasthan, whoever is exporting, all the big houses who are exporting, have their, they have the capital muscle to kind of build their own in-house dyeing unit. But nobody has taken, not even the government has taken the charge of doing centralized dyeing unit for these fibers. And if they have, it has been severely unsuccessful because the whole mat and that doesn't work. So even if you are trying to change the dye, it is a mammoth task. It's a huge task to do an in-house dyeing setup. The first thing would be we want to save the cancer in the naphtha dyes. We are not able to do that, right? So I think modern designers, it is the beauty of, it is really the beauty of the community and the government to come together and implement these things, and then kind of designers can facilitate connectivity to the world.
So many countries have banned alcohol dyes and the other chemical dyes. So they go for SO3 dyes. Testing is done and parameters are taken care of. So yeah, the domestic production also exports. In exports, they are doing only SO3 dyes. So, what measures can be taken to protect the intellectual property rights of traditional designs?
Yeah. So, intellectual property rights, as I was talking about that, if you are aware of that, Kota Duriya got the idea, right? Kota Duriya got its own GI indication. Similarly, each and every handloom has to go through a particular quality standard and gets its own GI indication, right? Why only Kota Duriya? And we have so many clusters. Sangane tried, but I don't think
Yes, Sanganer has it.
they haven't received GI. So it's only this, but we have at least 100 clusters in Rajasthan to get the GI tag, right? So why can't? That's what I want the young generation to please come up and take up issues related to textile. It's not only design, but there's a ladder to cross before you become a designer. There are so many things that you can do and contribute to this community. Yeah, everybody wants to be a designer tag, but we have experienced designers sitting here. They have a lot of challenges. So it's not limited to design as design, but please come up with innovative solutions to each and every aspect that reaches to design of handlooms.
Are there any upcoming trends or technologies that you believe will shape the future of handlooms?
I would like to put up one more point here. Morning, say in the evening, I get up and check my mobile. Okay, I walk 3,650 steps. Not reach my target of 4,000. Why? I don't want to question myself in the evening. So why can't we students, do something to design some apps for the handloom weavers? Apps which would suggest their inventory, apps that would suggest their targets that to be met, apps that can coordinate with the designers. So why can't we come up with certain apps, as you guys are technologies driven young generation, please come up with certain ideas that could support our needs.
I think this is an excellent point, and where very interesting things are happening. People from engineering background, they will come and study at NIT, right? Or people from NIT would go to IIT for doing their post graduations. When you do cross-cultural studies, you start understanding the requirement of the core sector you want to work in, and then technology will help in providing those kind of solutions which you are which probably because you become a unique DNA in that industry, right? You know how to design an app, and then you also understand the pain points of handling sector, and that's where IT and textiles, map. And that's why all these NIT designers could see they would travel internationally, and they are not traveling internationally for doing their post graduations in NIT in textiles, but it is very different disciplines. Exactly, specializations where you can marry the two fundamentals together.
And also what Anita just said, stay in one discipline for a longer period so that you get the hack of it and you understand the integrity of that craft. And then it will be easier for you to design something. Last question. What advice would you give to young designers interested in working with handlooms?
I think I already said that in the beginning, that if you at any point think that because you're designers you can't contribute to climate change, to a better world, you're very wrong. There is so much that only you can do because everybody needs players. Indian handloom sector, the second largest unorganized sector, is contributing to the Indian GDP. That is how large it is. And the stats say that 70% of it is women. And you asked a question, we have so many working groups are already functional. 50% need upgradation. But having said that, there is so much of potential that is yet to be discovered in working with handlooms. And that's where you come in. Create good products that have a global appeal, that are so enticing that they just fly off the shelf and gives more livelihood to the users and has impact on the environment also. So who said you can't make an impact? You are in the right place to make an impact. And I think with UN giving us UN SDGs and sustainability and sustainable fashion also being one of them is something that we can actually do about.
Yes, I have one question from each of the panelists, and we can take some questions from the audience. Yeah. Anything from there? Any questions? So, okay, yeah, thanks. Really, और कंफर्टेबल चलेगा मेरे हेलो या और थोड़ा So Rameshwari, I really love what you said, that design is very contextual, right? So looking at weaving what comes from the beautiful muslin that comes from West Bengal could not be woven in Jaipur, I mean in Rajasthan. And then you try to weave it. So I think experimentation is something that you really try to establish that, design requires and innovation would require a lot of experimentation. So you've really experimented a lot. And just give me one very interesting successful thing which is truly innovative in your domain that you've been able to have in these 4 years of experience that you have.
So there is this fabric that we do cashmere cotton like a trademark for it. It's 100% cotton, but it looks like pashmina.
Wow.
Yeah, and imagine, I think if we talk about carbon footprint, if we talk about climate change, the common basic lines for there, which raise that contributes to methane emission, which happens because of wool. Wool is also a part of the wool value chain, but cotton is far more sustainable. That particular percentage of carbon footprint. So, cashmere cotton is a fabric which works in summers and winters. It is luxurious looking, it looks like pashmina, it's cheaper than pashmina.
You're giving it where?
Actually, we were finalists in the Lexus Design Awards 2021 because of Cashmere Award.
Congratulations. And you just saying that Shama Pawar, you know,
Yeah, there are awards done and she wrote. So, this is just one of the things that we have done. Currently, we are working with Woody, and we are also trying to do this recycling of product for operating. But there's just so much, and just adding not mine. But अभी जो मन की बात हुई थी 28 July को, it talked about the organization called Kosha. Kosha is a wonderful organization they have created because we are in the artificial intelligence. We are in a time where artificial intelligence is so important. So they have created a small device जो हैंडलूम पे लग जाता है और आप जब रीडिंग करते हो उसकी ब्यूटी को रिकॉर्ड करके क्लाउड पे भेजता है. तो हैंडलूम प्रोडक्ट में QR कोड लगता है जिससे आप देख सकते हो कि स्पीकर ने रीड किया था. So we talk about transparency. This is what transparency means in artificial intelligence.
very interesting. Very interesting. And probably even blockchain is also a very the way to actually look at tracking the whole process and the people around it, right? So I think technology has a great role to play today in terms of tracking the originality of the product. डॉक्टर संजय आपको मैं काफी समय से जानती हूँ and खादी के आप shirts बनाते हुए to all the heritage weeks and lot of exhibitions I've seen and people are very fondly really looking at your khadi shirts. So I know as a medical, in your medical profession, because you were never, you know, and what really got you? आपको क्या हुआ था जो आपने ये वो क्या spark हुई जो आपने design में उतर गए और started exploring khadi?
Family roots probably. Yeah. My father was in textile business.
He was a textile?
Textile business, Raj Padana cloth store.
Okay.
That was always there. Probably that was what was pulling me towards this car.
So medical profession में क्यों चले गए?
Yeah, I never wanted to be this, but that the bent, the creativity bent was always there in me. So one day we were just thinking of having a fashion show for the doctors. ऐसे मजे में काम सबने सोचा चलो एक fashion show करते हैं. That's how I got it. Then we were looking for a fabric, an interesting fabric. उस fabric में हम कपड़े बनाएंगे and then we have a ramp walk. तो हमने explore किया possibility तो खादी of course खादी fascinating है. It is such a wide range from muslin to jharna fabric is such a wide range. Rustic elegance to that fine muslin also. So that's what I decided to do with the fashion, with the clothing for the fashion.
So you have to say that variety is the biggest thing when it comes to handloom, right? And I think that variety is the delight, especially when you look at Indian states coming from different parts of the country and bringing different resources and different textiles together. I think it makes a beautiful
spectrum of variety we have.
Thank
And
you.
it can be just so versatile. It can be molded into Western clothing. It can be molded into our traditional clothing also. And like I said, it can be moved to Queen's Court also if designed properly. Yes, sir.
In fact, 2020 when we did the Fashion Colloquium, which was an international conference, we had 250 delegates. You were a part of it, right? And we had all the delegates around from 15 countries. We had around 250 delegates here at ours here. And so we had responsible fashion series that we actually initiated it. And we did the Jaipur Fashion Responsible Fashion Design Declaration. So we completely have that fashion declaration here, which is where all those countries and those institutions approved of. And today responsible fashion has become a big thing, and handloom is the way towards responsible fashion. I think, and Looking at people like you, I'm sure this young generation will start wearing, they will look at them wearing those t-shirts with those cuts here and there. I mean, I know they love it, but you know, they could do so much of innovation with khadi. There's some interesting clothes like the way you are wearing it, right? And even if you want to wear an off shoulder, why not wear it with a khadi sarong kind of thing, you know, rather than wearing it a knitted or a rosary kind of material, you know? So there's a lot of possibilities and there's a lot of color, beauty with the fabric itself. And thank you so much. मिस दुनिया आपको मैं बहुत सालों से जानती हूँ and I remember the ISO that art show also took was when your husband was with that and you've been doing projects and with quality, you know, I mean, when it comes to handlooms, they definitely we talk about the individual impression and there are a lot of quality issues. So whenever it comes to mass production, there is a challenge because you can't give the same kind of thing every time, right? Because the weaver is in a different mood, or maybe there's a different, maybe पत्ती गुल हो गई है या बारिश ज़्यादा आ गई है, you don't know क्या होगा फैब्रिक के साथ में that variation जो आता है. So generally export में वो लोग बिल्कुल आपको flawless मांगते हैं चीज, इसीलिए handmade चीजें ज़्यादा exports में चल जाती हैं. But looking at the growth that's happening, any insights that you have around quality that you would like to share with these young people that we talk about? जैसे GI जो बात करी थी, तो इनमें से किसी को पता ही नहीं GI होता क्या है. GI का मतलब है शैंपेन एरिया में बनता है. शैंपेन तो सबने सुना है ना, कोटा लोग नहीं सुना होगा. You heard about champagne? Okay, good. So champagne is a region in France. So the wine that is made in that region is known as a GI indicated. मतलब वो wine जो बनेगी वही होगी. वैसे कोटा डोरिया अगर कोटा में बनती है तो ही उसको कोटा डोरिया कहलाता है. If in any part the Banaras is making, but that's not Kota Doria, right? But it can have a similar weave. So now that kind of weave is being done everywhere. So अगर आप ये कहेंगे from a quality point of view and standardization point of view, what is the perspective that you can bring for these young people?
We've been telling that khadi, say for example, or handloom, we've been telling the world that it has deformity. It is not deformities, I would say, but irregularities. We have to accept those irregularities. Recently, 10 days back, I was in Pure London. This is an exhibition in London. I was speaking to one of the designers who has displayed some sustainable fabric. I spoke to them, would you be interested in taking khadi from India? They say, we do accept the irregularities, but consistency of supply and consistency of irregularity would be the requirement. Now, I do not understand the term consistency of irregularity. You know, this was something which I had to really find once I'm back now. I'm thinking of it, where to start from, you know, how do we make it consistency in irregularity of a fabric, because they have to accept it the way it is. But yes, of course, we have to really understand technologically. If some buyer is asking something like this, then there is something that we need to really understand. How can we do little quality aspect checks, even in khadi fabrics? You know that is what the entire standardization process will work in khadi as well, or maybe handloom. Handloom, there's not a lot of problem since the yarn is at least not made by hand. So there is a regularity in terms of yarn in case of handlooms. But when we talk about khadi, it is purely hand-spun yarn. Now, how do we have a check? So a very important standardization process is required even for hand-spun yarn. Every unit should have a simple, you know, thread count. It's a very, very simple instrument. A very simple instrument which is not that costly. So we can ask the khadi
Do you think
organization.
we need localized centers to
Yes,
who can
they should have an in-house
centers?
centers. In-house centers are very, very important to have a quality check. If some questions like these are coming up, and we have to.
So I let you know, so the MSME has this cluster scheme, and they want entrepreneurs to come and build these clusters, which will look at specific areas of the industry. That the industry could be the handloom industry, and could address their concerns. तो जैसे मान लीजिए आपके हैंडलूम की टेस्टिंग का ये एक एरिया हो गया मान लो, अगर इस तरह के क्लस्टर यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, बिकॉज़ ये सारे जाकर के फ्यूचर एंटरप्रेन्योर्स बनेंगे. बेटा आप ध्यान से सुन रहे हैं, you guys are listening? हाँ? कैन यू कनेक्ट द डॉट्स आगे जाकर के अगर पूरे वर्ड्स भी रह गए तो अच्छा रहेगा बिकॉज अभी फाउंडेशन लेवल पे सो इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट टू जस्ट इवन दोस कीवर्ड्स इफ दे स्टे विद यू इट विल बी रियली बेनिफिशियल so you know such economic models can be such clusters can be created by these young people 15-20 बच्चे जुड़ करके जो आगे चल जाके बिजनेस शुरू करेंगे गवर्नमेंट की schemes का फायदा उठा सकते हैं they could address these areas of sustainability and quality measures which could be a very friendly thank you सौम्या आप मेरे को बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग आपका लगा कि फाइनेंस बैकग्राउंड का बंदा और आप काफी यंग है और and you stepping into completely this domain of making you know fabrics which has become so aspirational so very into the Khan festival you Ratna Patel so what did you wear मतलब आपने जो साड़ी थी वो क्या थी और उसमें ऐसी क्या बात थी कि that became a choice of a celebrity wear at the Khan.
It was basically a very simple technique which we revived for Samandar hair. So Samandar hair in Chanderi has kind of gone. You generally don't get to see Samandar hair for Chanderi now. Samandar hair.
Leher, which is very pattern होता है.
Which is a tie and dye, basically tie and dye. It's a tie and dye. But we did tie and dye for the yarn, and then we had woven it. So we changed the silk, we changed the water, and we made the sari very lightweight, very soft. The quality of zari was very good, and it's just a simple piece of elegance, like a plain yellow sari with a very simple use of blues and greens in it.
So you work with different clusters across the country in terms of your weaving.
Yes, I do, but I basically focus on Chanderi, and now I want to focus absolutely on Rajasthan for my supply chain in Rajasthan. Because I'm very passionate about working with, because I come from Rajasthan, so Jaipur is the most resourceful city I totally most resourceful city, so I have to take out of Rajasthan.
Rashmi ma'am, thank you so much, Soumya. Rashmi ma'am, having worked with the print industry largely, and when you look at handlooms, where do you see, especially when it comes to the Jaipur market, the export and the real estate, कितना आपको handlooms का लगा कि है market है और कितना aspirational value कितना है?
When you talk about handloom, like sports wear, India is doing really good because they like the hand touch that we provide to our products. Whether it is handloom fabric or it is block printed, hand printed, or it has some embellishment which is hand done, whether it has tassels, embroidery, or any handwork attached to the product, it just adds value to the product that we are making. So that puts us ahead of what China is doing. So exports में textile, India is doing good because we incorporate handwork to our products.
Thank you so much. Thank you. अब आप wrap-up कर दीजिए मेरे सारे questions हो गए.
Thank you, panelists. Thank you so much for the insight.
Thank you. Thank you. We'd like to present a small memento to you, which you can keep it on your table. So this is being drafted by the department here. Rishi sir, आप आइए जी, come and आइए. Then come. Karima, Megha. Jaipur for you once again. So overall, the day was the fag end of the day, and I think the students were feeling a little like this. So a couple of you want to give some insights here, Sukanya, the ones who are from the senior batches, anything that
anything that you have in mind and you want to just put it forward. Maybe say thank you to the panelists here. Any student from the crowd who wants to say a big thank you to the panelists here? Okay, here come.
Dear panelists, I am Priya from Network, graphic design. So I am not interested in something. Today from your session, I became, I am more in love with Handloom. So thank you.
Okay, so let's take a pledge that at least once a week we want to wear a handloom. Okay? That's a culture we always try to build in here. अपन सब खड़े हुए अब आप बताओ कि पहले तो कॉटन पहनना शुरू करो ये टी शर्ट से सिंथेटिक से बाहर निकलो थोड़ा अगर आप डिजाइनर दिखना भी चाहते हो चलो बनोगे बाद की बात है पर दिखना भी चाहते हो ना तो सूती पहनना शुरू करो जो उनका ब्रांड का नाम है सूट इनका ब्रांड का नाम है कॉटन ब्रांड तो ये कहते हैं पहले कि रैक कॉटन के कपड़ों से भरा हुआ ठीक है वो कहते हैं आप सूट को धारो वो उनका कहता है मेकअप दिखा लियो क्या मतलब हुआ
Basically, it's a local dialect word. From Rajasthan. Basically, it comes from make liyo. So, make liyo, छोटे बच्चों के कुर्ते.
make liyo.
Correct. It's not the Assamese make liyo. It is the Rajasthan.
नहीं वो तो मेखला चादर हुआ.
मेखला चादर.
This is
make liyo.
अच्छा बच्चों के कपड़ों को make लियो बोलते हैं.
जो छोटे बच्चों के कुर्ते बनते हैं.
छोटे बच्चे के कुर्तों को make लियो बोलते हैं. Right? Look at his brand name, huh? And he is now become a national and a global brand because अगर कोई आज उसमें पहन के चला जाए तो वो डिजाइनर ग्लोबल बन जाता है. Right? That is the benchmark, right? So you have some global designers sitting here and look at them how down to earth they are because they know the job what they're doing, right? So you need to get deeper into what you want to do, what you love. And that's an opportunity when we get you to meet such people. The idea is to get inspired, right? बहुतों को नींद आ रही थी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कोई बात नहीं पर एक बात भी अगर आपको दिल को चली गई ना तो दैट विल हेल्प यू गो अहेड लंबे दौर में लेके जाएगा और सबसे पहला काम शुरू करना है आप जाके खादी भंडार पे जाओ एक कुर्ता का ज्यादा महंगा नहीं था 250 रुपए से ज्यादा नहीं लगता 300 रुपए आई रिमेंबर व्हेन आई वाज अ स्टूडेंट उस समय हमारे ग्रीन पजामे ऑरेंज कुर्ता बांधनी का दुपट्टा दिस वाज द डीयू का ये यूनिफॉर्म था तो ये समझ लो हर जना को खादी भंडार का कुर्ता उसी की सलवार और एक बंदेज का दुपट्टा राइट लेरिया बंदेज और व्हाटएवर यू वांट सो एंड यू हैड मल्टीपल कलर्स देयर दिल्ली वाले में अगर आप वहां पे जाओगे और यहाँ पे भी आपके पास में अच्छे खादी भंडार है वो पिक अप अ नाइस दिस थिंग को आप पहनो आप अलग-अलग पहनो एंड यू विल लुक ब्यूटीफुल इतना लगते हो वो क्या बोल रही थी मैकडॉनल्ड्स का बर्गर एक जैसा सारा you know and सारे के सारे वो अंकल जैसे लगते हो you look the same no right when you want to look like a good force then wear all the design printed t-shirt then you look alike otherwise wear your beautiful clothes your colors अपने मम्मी की साड़ियाँ लेकर जाओ उसको अलग-अलग तरीके से ड्रेप करो और इधर the boys can do that you know why not धोती पहनो कुर्ते पहनो you look beautiful you look outstanding you know so try it experiment karo this is your place to experiment because here people are going to appreciate you the world might judge you doesn't matter but here you will get appreciated अपने सारे हिचक अपने डर तोड़ो अच्छे कपड़े पहनने सीखो अच्छे कपड़े किसको बोलते हैं हैंडलूम्स पहनने को बोलते हैं अच्छे कपड़े पहनना this साड़ी is 25 years old right लगती है लग रही है नहीं मेरा ब्लाउज एकदम नया है so you wear an old साड़ी with a new blouse yeah yeah I have loads of them because that's a treasure अगर more than jewelry I treasure my handlooms because ये मिलेंगे नहीं बाद में ये आज से अभी I feel the scarcity of pure fabrics in the market आज की तारीख में आपको प्योर फैब्रिक खरीदने जाना चाहिए तो आपको मिलेगा नहीं यू विल ओनली गेट स्पेशलाइज्ड पीपल लाइक ये जिनके यहाँ पे कपड़े मिलेंगे हाँ
So who cares about it?
who cares about it
I mean, you want to wear Balenciaga or you want to wear Gucci or Louis Vuitton. Who cares?
आप लुई विटॉन पहनो गुची पहनो बेलेंसियागा पहनो और उसके बाद हैंडलूम पहनो बस ये सब बराबर के बीच का कुछ नहीं पहनना है आपने
You understand? That's good, no? अब तो ठीक है? बीच का कुछ नहीं पहनना है. Wear Gucci, wear Louis Vuitton, do I wear beach jacket? No problem. I also love that. But you just need to be really there.
Can we have a 2 minutes really open round of discussion with because
Yeah.
my first session with any of the bosses. I always declined that this was Rameshwari and I could never say no for her. She's a very good friend. Now, my first question is why do people take fashion and textiles? Like why?
I like the question coming
I
from
mean,
this side.
you guys like glamour, you guys want to you like styling, you want to sense of style, or you want to speak to the world. Like, why do you pick up?
Who are the students in fashion? Only a couple of them अभी बैठे हुए हैं. तुम लोग थोड़े आगे आकर के जवाब दो. Why did you pick up fashion textiles?
Okay, let's put this. I think my only suggestion, advice would be two important things. Try to balance your wardrobe at this point in time so that you get exposed to handloom. Once you start getting exposed to handloom and you start getting exposed to present trends you guys are always, then you will understand how to manage it, right? That is something extremely very important. And to follow your discipline very properly. Discipline can take you extremely long way, but motivation cannot take you. Motivation you will burn out very quickly. But if you're disciplined, it will take you extremely long.
So my sessions are going on in the morning every day on professional development. The first session has been on discipline. We started with it, and then I came on to design discipline and what design discipline would require. So I'm sure आप में से समझ में आया ना? So see, here also it starts with discipline, it ends with discipline. खत्म है कहानी, बीच में कुछ है ही नहीं. ठीक है? Is that clear? Okay. So thank you so much for this lovely insight. So what he said, I don't go to colleges. So अगर तुम जैसे स्टूडेंट मिलेंगे जो पूछेंगे भी नहीं तो उनके लिए कोई मोटिवेट इंस्पिरेशन ही नहीं है अगली बार किसी कॉलेज में जाने का. If design students don't speak up, then who will speak? Who will speak? Good. बोलो क्यों लिया? Speak a little louder, beta.
Hi, I'm Ashika. I'm working in my foundation here. And like you asked why I pick fashion and textile. First of all, if I journey back why I was like fashion was because I didn't want to create for one specific age of people. I wanted to create for everybody. I wanted my fashion, my style to be catered to every aspect of financial income families. Not only fashion of high class or lower class or middle class.
नहीं होगा ऐसा.
It is possible if you have a plan, if you can afford it, if you can gather the idea with a lot of lifestyle, like you all have established a lot of great companies.
आपको सरकार में बैठ के पॉलिसी बनानी पड़ेगी. ब्रांड ऐसे नहीं बनता.
Brand
का टारगेट सेगमेंट
is already brand which is called Sala. Sala is the brand which is already doing it.
Okay.
And actually having a very uniform language for everybody. So somebody who's getting out from BMW can also wear it, and somebody who's working as as salaried one can also wear it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but you need to have a very solid plan. You have an extremely solid plan and running very successful story.
But they're very minimalistic. I understand. No, Sada.
You need minimalism. I want to wear like a simple kurta. And the best part is, it is most difficult to be simple these days.
Yeah.
So if you can afford to be simple, then you cater to everyone.
That's all I have to say is I wanted a plan that can cater to everybody. Simplicity and minimalism is something which we very easily can cater to everybody. A sari that can be worn by her and also worn by me and maybe my next generation. Something that is a handloom that can be passed on to generation to generation. Something that can be recreated into a suit or maybe a short kurti. Something that can be passed down is something that I would.
Great vision, huh? Great. Congratulations. Great start. Great start. Anybody else? So Kanaya, you want to talk about your widely related fashion?
Good evening, I am Suvanya from third year fashion design. The reason I got into fashion was it started as a very childish dream. I was 6 years old when I decided on the career itself. I watched this movie. It was a Barbie movie about this fashion designer who was down on her luck, and she was doing very earnest designing. She wanted to connect with people, but she was not able to because competition was strong. And I found the idea of creating as a form of expression very powerful. It is like when you wear something, it is an extension of yourself. It's how people see you. And I was very fascinated by that idea, and I carried it forward as an adult. And I kind of just never let it go. So I became a fashion
Okay,
designer.
now when you started learning, now how has your vision or your dream evolved? And do you see it evolving?
I do. I mean, the core is still the same. I still want to design because I want to see people express themselves. I want to see people connect. When you wear something interesting, people look at you and they think about that outfit and say, oh, that person wore that kind of thing. So I wonder what kind of person they might be. And it is like a conversation. It's a form of connection as well. For me, it's that connection that I really like. And I want to connect people through this art form.
Sure. Clothing has a great purpose, and you talking about that purpose, that it should deliver. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else from fashion wants to talk about it? Why they've taken this course? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any more questions? I think probably we have to stop the 4:30 sessions. People are depleted by the time, and I think the early mornings would be better. Sir, got that? Got that? अगली बार नहीं रखेंगे शाम को, ठीक है? Unless and until it is a motivational speaker who's coming and charging you up with clap, 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 then clap, clap, clap. ठीक है? Thank you. Guys, you want to take a picture along with us? Come, fटाफट. Foundation. And the taller ones will go at the back. और उस तरफ भी चले जाओ इधर से भी नहीं आएगा और दैट साइड गाइस और द टॉप गाइस वो दैट साइड हम सब हाथ खड़ा करेंगे कि हम हफ्ते में एक बार कॉटन पहनेंगे पहले और महीने में एक बार हैंडलूम पहनेंगे इतना ही करते हैं इतना ही करते हैं गरिमा मैम आज के दिन स्वदेशी मूवमेंट शुरू हुआ था ओके सो लेट्स नाउ ठीक है हाथ सब खड़ा करें सो कॉटन पहनना है पहले और महीना में आगे मैं भी बहुत so once a month we wear बाकी कॉटन पहनना है so देखिए एक बहुत कम है मेरे को कितने जरूरी है अपन 4 बार है एक ले आओ 4 बार से एक कर okay so we all pledge that we will be wearing Handloom once a week. ये मीडिया में जाएगा ये प्लेज पक्का है ना? ओके डन.
इसमें तो हो गया